Okay, so we are moving on from question 27. If you are starting on this video, you need to make sure that you watch the What is Temperature 1 Minute of Physics video that is posted in the playlist right before this. It comes between question 27 and 28. This is a picture with what it looks like. It glitches out when we try to re-record it, so just watch it in the playlist, please. We will do a candle and flame demo that should also be posted here at some point. Okay, so temperature, each molecule has kinetic energy because they are always in motion. Temperature is the average of that kinetic energy. So what is an average and what does an average tell us? Okay, so looking at guided notes question 28, averages. An average tells you a typical number for a large group of numbers. Averages summarize larger sets of numbers. If there's lots of numbers, most of them will be around the average. Half of the numbers will be above the average, half of the numbers will be below the average, and some might be at exactly the average. So remember, average in math terms is also known as the mean, okay? So looking at guided notes question 28, it says class average, or what is an average and what does an average tell us? So make sure you fill that out based on what's on your screen right now. Okay, what is an average and what does an average tell us? Okay, so how to calculate an average, you find the sum of the numbers. What is a sum? It is the answer to a addition problem, okay? So make sure you're adding all of the numbers together, okay? If you're using a calculator, you're gonna hit the equal button. Then you're gonna divide by the total number of data points you used. So if there were 3 numbers, you add the 3 numbers and then divide by 3, okay? All right, so using as an example the average number of pets in the class. Since you were in class, more than likely if you're watching this video, you were in class, we're going to figure out using your pets, my pets, and Mr. Jackson's pets, and we're going to take the average of the 3 of us, okay? So we need to find out how many pets does each person have. We're going to add them together. You're going to hit the equal sign if you're using a calculator, and then you're going to divide by the number of the students in the class. Because you are doing this from home, you're just going to divide by 3, myself, Mr. Jackson, and yourself, okay? So here are Mr. Jackson's pets. He has 2, so the first number in your average is going to be 2. You're going to add that to my 4 pets. So I have Thor, Dixie, Zeus, and Titus. Okay, so I have 4 pets. So 2 plus 4 is 6. Then go ahead and add however many pets you have. Okay, and then divide by 3. And you should get your average between the 3 of us. What is the average number of pets? Okay, so an average is a single number that tells you something about what's typical of a larger set of numbers. Averages are helpful because they allow us to compare groups of different sizes without having to think about each individual member of the group. Now remember, the average is not always the exact number. A lot of the numbers are higher, a lot of them are lower, and some of them are right on that average, okay? So you all have different numbers of pets. The average doesn't tell us exactly how many pets each person has, but everyone's pets are represented in the average, okay? So just thinking about the average we just took between myself, Mr. Jackson, and you, do you have more or less pets than the average in our class? Okay. Do you have more or less than the average in our class? Okay. So temperature is the average speed and kinetic energy of the molecules. Just like with the pet example, some molecules are going to be moving faster than that average. Some are going to be moving slower than that average. Some of them are going to be moving right on that average. Not all molecules move at the exact same speed, so not all molecules of a sample match the average, okay? So remember, temperature is the average speed or kinetic energy of the molecules, okay? So in this unit, we are going to be using the idea of an average to think about differences in temperature, okay? So how to find an average right here. Here's a great example, okay? We have 3 numbers here. We have 4 plus 5 plus 3. 4 plus 5 is 9, plus 3 more is 12. So there is our answer that is our sum of the 3 numbers. And then we count how many numbers there are. There are 1, 2, 3 numbers. So the sum of those numbers is 12. The total data points is 3. So we're going to divide the sum, by the total number of data points. So we've got 12 divided by 3, so we get 4. Our average of these numbers, 4, 5, and 3, is 4. And as you can see, one of those numbers is right on that average, one is above that average, and one is below that average. Now, it's not always going to be exactly like that, okay? But this is a good example. Okay, we will also be doing a globe bracelet demo in class. You may or may not see a video of that on here. Okay, so now we're going to stop this video right after this. Guided notes question 30. Okay, so you're going to look at 2 diagrams that show things made of molecules moving at different speeds and calculate the average speed of the molecules in both diagrams. Calculate the average speed of those molecules in guided notes question 30. So looking at guided notes question 30 right here, we have diagram 1, what's your average? Diagram 2, what's your average? And then what can you tell about the temperature of the two samples? Okay, so looking at diagram 1, we have 1, 5, 2, 4, 3, 4, 5, 1, 3, 2. We're going to add all of those 10 numbers together, and then we need to divide by how many data points there are. There are 10 numbers. So we're going to add every number and then divide by 10 to find our average or our mean, okay? Then we're going to do the same thing down here. There are 6 numbers, and they are all 3. So you'll add 3 6 times 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, okay? Then you will divide by 6 to get your average there, okay? Then you are going to tell me what can you tell about the temperature of the two samples, okay? Does one have a higher temperature or a lower temperature based on the average speed of the kinetic energy? Okay.